So, I wasn't planning on recording here, but, and again, most of these ones that I immediately do basically after the battle are never planned. But, since I'm telling you this, that, you know it's gonna be good. I don't just do things for nothing. And you may question, why did you title this, who's calling? You'll find out near the end of, the video. So, let's get into it. This is in the new, whatchamacallit, these are in the new Pan-Asian destroyers. Really, what that means is they're the Chinese and the other navies of Asia that aren't Japan and aren't backed by basically the US, the UK, Germany, France, or the major colonial powers of the used to day. You know, the ones that they all said, fuck off, out of our lands? Yeah, the ones that they kicked out. So, in theory, if ever, we might get French destroyers flying the flag of Vietnam here. Because I do believe there were some Vietnamese destroyers, actually. I do believe, I could be wrong on that. Actual Navy people would know. I just play one on TV. But, here we are in the Shenyang. This is a former Japanese cruiser. Former Japanese cruiser, no, this is a former Japanese destroyer. It's the Minakaze! Or at least one of the Minakazes. Remember, there's a boatload of these bastards. And later on, you'll discover some things that are quirky about these new Pan-Asian destroyers. In fact, I'll show you one right now. Watch the thingies that tell you what kind of torpedoes they are. Why are those indicators round? I could have something looks wrong about them. They're round. Shouldn't they be some other shape? Or were they always like that? We'll see in a second. But I'll tell you that they are different. But I want to show you the difference in one frame. So we'll touch on those in just a second when we see other torpedoes running somewhere. Anyways, yeah, so all the Pan-Asian destroyers are basically destroyers that came into China, Indonesia, and Thailand in this case, for the entire range that we have here so far, via buying or trading or some other means. And I'm gonna give you an apples to apples in just a second when we see the other torpedoes, by the way. I'm gonna tell you the miracles of them all. Okay? Ready? Away one, away two. By the way, I told you this is a Minakaze. Wait, why am I firing only 2 torpedo tubes? Shouldn't I have 3? No, the Shenyang has upgrade torpedo tubes, and they ditched one. So instead of having 3 duo launchers, I get 2 triple launchers. Same amount of torpedoes, just different amount of them on a range. But these are, in fact, I think, actually a little bit higher damage. I think. Could be wrong with that. I haven't checked actually with the Minakaze again. I forgot to. But I have a bit of a problem here. And there's a Fargit, Kirov, and what's his face over there? You know who's what's it? One of the many whatchamacallits class of cruiser. Is it Königsberg? I literally watched this like a bit ago and it's like, I don't remember. Hey, why is my reticle not... Wait, why is my aiming reticle at the destroyer not working? That is odd. Something else I found about these guns. They're great on the first salvo. After salvos, not so much. They'll hit you, but to varying degrees of full and utter competency. Hey, there it is. If I come back out again, there it is. Round, triangular. Wait for it. Right there. You see a water spout. That hit the destroyer. I mean, it's own size, so it's not any damage, but round is deep water torpedoes. And triangular is shallow water torpedoes in a sense, I guess. So, what does that mean? Well, deep water torpedoes run deeper than shallow water torpedoes. I know what you're saying. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Would you like to tell me now that water is wet? I mean, it is, but that's past the point. Here's what I mean by deep water torpedoes are deeper. They don't hit destroyers. Destroyers generally have anywhere between about 10 to 15 at most feet of draft. Anything else has more than that as standard. Hell, most cruisers, the shallowest they are, with nothing on them except for them being a hull, is about 15 feet. So, you set your torpedoes to say, I don't know, run at like 20 feet, and magic happens. Shock of shock and horror of horrors. The torpedo protection that normally goes, it's not all the way to the bottom, it's not all the way to the keel. It's mostly all the way there, but not all of it. So, where destroyers don't have any plating and they're very susceptible to torpedoes, these won't hit them, but I can get underneath the protection of carriers, cruisers, and battleships. And that's where these guys excel. They're built to fight battleships and cruisers. And aircraft carriers, but that's easy to sneak up on them because destroy. By the way, I thought this was a loss here, but
Problem solved.
I was fairly certain of it, and then that happened, and that's why I called it partially Who's Calling. Apparently, Competency's calling now. Good to see them. It's nice to hear from them. Gunners apparently don't want to talk to them, but hey, that's for them. It's their prerogative. I also use my smoke defensively. That's just how I normally do. But deep water torpedoes, they hit harder. They actually do a little bit more damage compared to, well, as base, than a lot of the other torpedoes, the shallow water ones. And they are much sneakier. And I mean this. The minimum detection range, or the maximum detection range, I should say, on deep water torpedoes at higher tiers is 1 kilometer. Normally shorter than that, about 800, 700 yards. So, or 700 yards, 700 meters, 700 to 800 meters. So that's pretty good. And they wallop.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
To go all the way to top tier here, the Fletcher is the top tier American. I'm putting up the Fletcher for a reason, because in the Pan Asian, it is the Hen Shang, which is a modified Fletcher a couple years down the road, the Gleaves class. So, that means they get the same Mark 15 torpedoes. Both of them have Mark 15s, but the Gleaves is a maximum detect, but the Hen Shang has, if I remember the number off the top of my head properly, it is a 0.7 kilometer detection range, dealing somewhere in the ballpark of about 24,000 or there, probably thereabouts. Whereas on the Fletcher, you get about 20,000 damage maximum and spotted from about 1.5 kilometers. So, traveling at roughly the same speed, if I remember right as well. So, you get fairly apples to apples comparisons because they're apples to apples, just in different navies. So, who's that on the phone? Is it the 11th hour? Oh, good to hear from you. I haven't seen you in a while. So, the new line destroyers, I gotta say I do like them to a point. They do have their shortcomings. If you know me, you know that a lot of very close and intimate fights, I throw torpedoes in widespread. And normally, by the time my enemy can get in there, they're slightly oh shitted moment. To be fair, they tried to do the same with me, but I'm always on my throttle and my rudder. So I ride my pieces. Thank God I was in the smoke. And thank God I need to get out of here. So
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
so here's there's the little World of Warships update for you
Smoke screen
for this
set.
patch. Oh boy, it was a good game, and I tell you, the adrenaline was kicking after this one.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
Better judgment. Keep on minimap as it kills the Königsberg. Sorry, the Karlsruhe. My mistake. And I get the Phoenix.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
And watch this end screen for a second. This is pretty good. By the way, 12,000 damage per torpedo hit for the Shenyang here. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Not bad. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.